Well, good morning, everybody. It's St. Patty's Day, and we're going to talk about that a little later in our segment here. But today is March the 17th, and I'm Brad Neufeld.
And I'm Jay Walther.
And we're here to give you your positive quote for the day, also your resilience tip, and then we'll talk to you about the fun fact of the day. I kind of already gave it away, but anyway, no suspense today. Dang it! But
Dang.
but anyway, go ahead, Jay. Take it away. What's our quote for today?
Okay, today's quote is from Anne Frank. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. You don't have to
Ooh,
wait a moment.
yes. Dang it.
Start now.
It can't happen instantaneously.
No, no, and you don't have to wait until you're smarter or better looking or thinner or
Hmm.
richer or whatever. You can
Yep,
start today.
that's right. Start today. Start working towards what it is that you want. There's no better time than now. I know that's one thing I think we all have a challenge with is we put ourselves out there and things don't go quite the way that we want to, and so we stop ourselves. We say, "Oh, that didn't go the way that I wanted to, and I don't want to be embarrassed, so therefore I kind of stop myself." That kind of is how that resonates with me anyway, with that quote.
Yeah.
So we got to put ourselves out there. Today, we're going to learn about the learning curve. And this goes along with what we had been talking about, that this is going to be learning week. And when I first saw this learning curve, it just really blew me away. And I want to give credit where credit's due. This learning curve came to be through a professor known as Albert Bandura. I've even heard this or heard this referred to as Bandura's curve. Albert Bandura is a professor at Stanford University. At least he was. I don't know if he still is. I've been teaching this for a long time. I guess I better find out if he's retired or not. But anyway, I just thought I'd show this to you today. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up on a PowerPoint presentation that I have. And so let me show you how this works here. It starts, anything we learn in life, it all starts and follows this particular procedure here. And I'll explain as I go along. First of all, be aware that there's things out there that exist that you're just not aware of.
Yeah.
Okay. And as Jay says, that's okay. Just know that there's things out there you're just not aware of them yet, or it hasn't come into your world yet, and that's okay. Well, all of those things are at the bottom of the learning curve here that he refers to as unconscious incompetence. In other words, you don't know that you don't know. But the moment you discover something or something is brought into your awareness, all of a sudden it goes to this next phase here, which is known as conscious incompetence, which means you're aware of it, consciously aware of it, but you don't know how to do it. Then you have this decision making process that you go through that you say, all right, do I want to do this? Do I want to give it a shot or not? And if you decide, you know what, I want to do this, I want to give it a shot, well, then you enter this conscious competence phase, which means you're aware of the item, but you don't quite know how to do it yet, but you're working on understanding it. Now, after you do this for so long and it becomes second nature to you, you enter the final phase, which is known as unconscious competence, which means you can do it without thinking about it. Okay. Think about this when you went through driving. Well, first of all, when we're young, we don't care about driving. All we want to do is jump in the car with mom and dad and stick our heads out the window and our tongue out, right, like a puppy and stuff like that. No, not really, but uh, but that's all we care about. But then when we start to get to the age of 12 to 14, all of a sudden it's, I want to learn how to drive. Well, now you just went from the unconscious incompetence to the conscious incompetence. Now you're thinking, all right, driving is within my grasp. It's something I can possibly do, but I still got to go through it. Now, when you first started learning to drive, how was it? Did it feel like you were driving the car or was the car driving you?
Yeah, you thought about every turn, every time you moved
Everything.
your foot and your
Yep, you're coming up on a stop sign, you're looking down, okay, which one's the brake, which one's the gas, I got to get the right one, or somebody jumps out in front of you. You're looking at all the red, yellow, and green lights. Oh, should I stop now? Should I stop? Oh, what should I do? Should I run the red lights like everybody else do? No, no, just kidding. But anyway, you have all of this stuff going on, and you have to pay so much attention and have all your focus on bringing all that stuff in, looking for all the cars, looking for all the people that are on the side of the road, the bicycles, the motorcycles. Then, after about a few years, how is it now? When you jump in the car, do you have to think about it? No, you start the car, your head's saying, go to the grocery store. Are you even paying attention to what you're doing?
A lot of people aren't paying attention. They should be, but
Maybe that was the wrong question, Jay. But you don't have to
pay
pay
attention
as much
about what's
attention
going
as
on around you. You don't necessarily pay attention to what the car does.
that's true. That's true. And so, but anyway, you can see how this works here. You've gone through the process of learning how to drive, and I make people aware of this all the time. Have you ever noticed when you've just been kind of dazing off to the side and you've got the music playing and you're thinking of this song, all of a sudden your foot goes on the brake and you go, what the crap? You look up and the lights yellow.
Yeah.
Well, again, as we talked about the subconscious last week, see, your subconscious is taking all this stuff in. And so it's actually watching all this stuff that's going on. It's kind of cool if you think about it. But anyway, then all of a sudden you hit the brake, oh, crap, I'm supposed to stop right now. Well, this is how everything works right here. Everything you do goes through this. But guess where most people give up, Jay? Where do you think most people would give up on this learning curve?
Just before you get to unconscious competence, you think it's so hard.
Yep.
You never figure out how to do it. I suck at this. I don't do this very well. I'm not very good at playing the piano. I'm going to stop.
Yep. And right there's where most people give up. Because think about it. If you've ever had a feeling of, you know what, I want to be a real estate agent or something like that. Well, first of all, it may have not ever even been in your awareness. It's always been there, but then you start seeing these ads on TV. You can make extra money selling homes out there. And so you think, well, man, somebody that sells a house, they can make how much money? And it just kind of blows you away. So you think, I want to get into that. So now you're at conscious incompetence, you're aware of it, but you don't know how to do it. And then you find out you have to go to realtor school. And you think, well, that's not so bad. I can do that. But then when you're in realtor school, what happens? You discover that there's a lot of other realtors out there. And you start looking at how many brokerage houses are out there. Then your brain starts to play all these tricks on you and starts to say, there's just so many people doing it. I'll never even have a chance. There's not enough houses out there to sell. Oh my gosh, I could never be that. And that's this conscious competence right here where all the red is. That's where your decision making goes back and forth. And that's where you give up. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with this process. It's actually a wonderful thing. This gives you a chance to stop and ask yourself truthfully, do I really want to do this? And if the answer is no, guess what? Go find something else and start the process over. It's okay.
Yeah.
But just know if your heart's telling you, I want to do this, just like you did with driving, you had a strong desire to learn how to drive because you wanted your independence. Well,
Yep.
your path to success is the same way. If you decide, I want to do this, guess what? Keep going, and eventually it'll just become part of who you are, and it'll be at that unconscious competence phase, and you'll be able to do it without thinking about it. Okay. So just you know that old rule, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Well, that's intimidating to a lot of people, but 10,000 hours really isn't that long. What is it, 3 to 4 years with
Something
40
like that.
hours a week? You're going to be working anyway. You might as well be working in something that you love. So there we go, Jay. That's our tip for the day.
All right.
Did you like
Now
that
we're,
one?
we're going to talk about my uncle's favorite holiday. Me
All
uncle.
right, Mr. St. Patty's Day. Okay. Well, who was St. Patrick? A Catholic patron saint of Ireland. Okay. He was credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland, and his wife wasn't easy. What is that? Life, his life. I didn't get that. Oh, that was bad. Okay. His life wasn't easy at age 16. He was kidnapped and brought into servitude, from which he escaped, though he nearly starved. Once he decided to begin preaching, nothing could stop him. He was a humble man who continually thanks God, allowing him to bring people to God. So celebrate St. Patty's Day by wearing green and eating a little corned beef and cabbage today.
Yeah.
Are there even any restaurants that serve that anymore?
I'm sure you can find one.
I know there used to be a really good cafe downtown Salt Lake, but I haven't been there for a while. They have the best corned beef and cabbage. But anyway, well, guys, again, we're going to continue on with introducing you to all of the show hosts who are on our Resilience Talk Network. And today we're going to be highlighting Mr. Clark Harvey. Well, who's Mr. Clark Harvey? He is we call him the barbecue mortgage guy, and I'll let him explain a little bit about what that is. But Mr. Clark Harvey is an expert in mortgages. He owns a company and he's licensed in 5 states to do home mortgages, and he's licensed in all 50 states to do commercial lending. And he really knows his business, and he gives really good deals, and he also gives really good tips. That's why we have him here on the show, because there's so many people out there just trying to make a quick buck doing mortgages. And I'm not saying everybody's that way. I just know Clark. He's got a good heart and he wants to help people, and he gives you all the tips and strategies you need to get through the mortgage process if you've never gone through it. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up. That'll start immediately when we're done here. Jay, thank you so much for being on here today. This has been a lot of fun, and be sure and listen to us on Resilience Talk Network. If you just want to listen to us in the car through your phone or through the internet, you can find that at www.resiliencetalknetwork.com. That's resiliencetalknetwork.com. And if you're listening to this on our YouTube channel, please hit subscribe. It's really helping us to get the word out. Thank you. It's really helping us to get the word out. And so anyway, we enjoy doing these. And if you have any topics you'd like to have us bring up here on these morning kickstarts, we'd love to do it. You can access that through our website. So anyway, until tomorrow, have a good day, and we'll see you then.
See ya.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this morning's show host. What do we kind of call this? Platform. Okay. But anyway, as we told you, and as we've been talking about in our morning kickstarts, we want to introduce you to all of our show hosts. And this is Mr. Clark Harvey. Mr. Clark Harvey is on every Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, Saturday and Sunday. He is the mortgage master. Clark is licensed for mortgages in 5 states, plus he can do commercial lending in all 50 states. And so the thing I like about Mr. Clark Harvey here is he tells you the truth. He just tells you like it is. And so that's one thing I love about you, Clark. And so tell us a little bit about your podcast and what you're hoping to tell the world out there about the mortgage industry.
Well, there's a lot of questions that surround our industry that it has its own vernacular, and it can be very confusing to a lot of people. And for most people, it's the largest financial transaction they'll do in their lifetime.
Absolutely.
And so to have a trusted person that they can rely on, that's knowledgeable and good at what they do and the communication, I feel we have a very good service out there for a lot of people that we can help educate them along the way. That's my biggest thing, is educating them along the way. A lot of times people don't know what questions to ask. The only questions they typically know are, what is your rates and what is your cost?
Right.
Well, there's a lot more to a mortgage than that, as you know.
Yes.
Well, are you good at what you do? Are you able to calculate income? What about self-employed? What about someone who's on Social Security? What about, all these different things, so many facets. And what about Fannie Mae guidelines, Freddie Mac guidelines? What about VA? What about USDA? What about FHA? What about commercial lending? They all have different guidelines and different things, and they're always changing. So you really need someone in your corner that can educate you. As simple as that.
And that's what I love. And Clark gets on here and tells you and answers all the questions that are out there. What is mortgage insurance? What is, what's going on in the mortgage industry today? And I love how you keep everybody updated with the current things, especially with the major turns that have happened in the mortgage industry in the last few years. And yeah, there's been quite a few changes.
Just a few.
Yeah. So he does everything he can to keep you updated on those. And I also love your tagline. You're the barbecue mortgage guy. I get a lot of people asking me about that. How does that work? And
right.
Anyway, well, I'll let you tell it. You were a butcher prior to being a mortgage master.
Yeah, I used to smoke meats professionally, make all kinds of smoked meats, smoked sausage. And so I started to incorporate that, because there's nothing sexy or fun about the mortgage business. What they want is the house. We're the vehicle to get to the house.
Yeah.
And, we need that pint of blood or whatever that the underwriter wants. So I thought I would have a little fun with it. And so I smoked some brisket or some baby back ribs and ship them off to my clients, just like I did yesterday. And just something that's fun, that keeps me memorable, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I had some of your ribs, and I can still taste them.
Well, next time you're down here in St. George, you'll have to swing on by and get some.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, Clark, thank you for your time this morning. We just wanted to introduce the world to you. You can find Clark at his website at thebarbecuemortgageguy.com, thebbqmortgageguy.com, as well as listen to him right here on the Resilience Talk Network. You can find his videos on our YouTube channel. Just go to his playlist there, Barbecue Mortgage Guy, and you'll find all. Oh, we also have your meat smoking tips on there too.
Absolutely.
I forgot about those. So you
Absolutely.
can find out about those, and you can listen to him every Saturday at 10 a.m. on the network station at Resilience Talk Network. And so anyway, thank you so much, Clark, for coming on today, and wish you well, and let's make this thing happen.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, we'll
Have a
see
good
you.
day.